on the situation that other colleagues described already, and because of concrete reasons. So the positive thing in our case is that we have a strong legal and strict legal framework on the protection of the cultural heritage. And it is interesting that in the first article of the law for the protection is a reference on the preservation of historical memory. So we're talking about what Professor said before on the national character of the protection of the cultural heritage, and in order to not only for the current generation but also for the future generation. So there's a course in the history from the past to the future, and this is the main aim of the legislation for the protection of the cultural heritage. So this strict and legal framework is based on the Constitution. So it's in the Greek Constitution. The Greek Constitution speaks of the duty of the state to protect cultural heritage. So we have the Constitution, the special law that it was voted in 2002, and it's a very detailed and long, has 75 articles, who describes all the different particularities. And the third point is the decision, the jurisprudence of the Council of State, the Supreme Administrative Court of the country. So all these three elements constitute a very strong legal framework. However, there are problems and there are conflicts, and the reasons of these problems is, first of all, the complexity of the cultural heritage in my country. Because of the quantity, this legal framework is called to cover monuments from the prehistoric period until now. So it's the quantity, but also the different typology of the monuments. Fortunately, we don't have this kind of debate between minorities, religious minorities, that have a debate on concrete monuments. There is only one main minority, the Muslim minority of Thrace, but fortunately, as I told you, that we don't have problems as far as concerned debates on concrete monuments. The debate, although is more elegant, let's say, is between the state and the Christian community, the Christian church, the Greek Orthodox Church. So this debate has two levels. The first is the debate between the religious, the protection of cultural heritage versus the protection of religious rights and religious freedom. So we had recently a case that the Greek church protested because he wanted to have the control of a very famous monument in my city. So it was a long debate, a long procedure, and it was also finally a decision from the Greek court. On the other side, we have a debate between the protection of cultural heritage and the possibility of investment. So here we're talking about the management of cultural heritage. This is, I think, the two main pillars that describe the situation in Greece. And the fact that this protection of monuments includes also goals of all kinds of land layout, development, environment, and urban planning, creates and increases the tensions in our framework. So the main problem, as far as concerned the development, I think, and the development and the management, is what you know very well, at least some of our countries, is the bureaucracy. So this huge this huge quantity of monuments and different directories under the Minister of Culture creates many long I mean, not only the religious communities, but also owners and privates have to wait for a long time in order to have a final decision from the state in order to do what, in order to make things in their own property or close to the archaeological sites. So I think there is a problem, the main problem. So shall I pass now to the Holy Mountain, or?
Yeah, choose.
Well, actually, as I told you before, the legal framework is very solid. The general legal framework is very solid, and it is detailed. As far as concerned Holy Mountain, Mount Athos, you know that Mount Athos is a peninsula in Chalkidica in central Macedonia, is more detailed, more complex, and more solid. And this is because the particularity of these civitas, it's politeia, the monastic civitas, that is almost a unique phenomenon in the Christian world, at least. So there we have many other factors that are included in this mosaic of what we call protection of the heritage, of Attonite heritage. And first of all, the fact that this Holy Mountain presents a continuous life for many centuries. So starting from the 9th century, there's a long tradition and living tradition there with monks, not only from the Greek-speaking world, but also from all the other Orthodox countries. So this protection of the Holy Mountain passes through the history and through different factors that have to do with the territorial situation, let's say, of the Greek state. It was the Byzantine Empire, then the Ottoman Empire, and then the Greek modern state. This is the territorial aspect. And the second is the political, ecclesiastical situation between Christians, because the different Orthodox traditions. So after 1913, that it was the end of the Ottoman rule in Greece, it was a very strong will from the part of the Russian Church to rule and to control Holy Mountain. Finally, the Holy Mountain it is auto-governed now. It is protected not only by the international law, but also from the Constitution. The Greek Constitution has a specific Article 105, protects different aspects of the organization and of the protection of cultural heritage of Mount Athos, and also are respected the particular regulations of the 20 different monasteries that exist in this area. So it's more complex, the situation, and it is more strong and more solid the legal framework. And just to connect with the general law that I mentioned before, here we have the case that lex specialis derogat legis generali. So in this case, the law of 2002 is not applied for in Holy Mountain, because it's a kind of a sui generis situation, and and the law that the corpus of law that constitute the framework of the Athonite law, it has a superior formal force. So let me stop here now. I don't know if...
Very good, and thank you very much.